Ukraine has stepped up drone strikes against Russia. In a war already marked by Ukrainian drones, this time the Belarusian-Russian border was the target. While Ukrainian drones continue to be at the center of the full-scale war since the invasion began, Ukraine continues its attacks at full speed to wear down the Russian army and disrupt all lines of communication. Ukraine continues to wear down Russian targets by striking them from short and long distances. With the active use of drones, Ukraine has not only gained a tactical advantage, but also drastically changed the nature of the war. Ukrainian troops, which simultaneously launched point-blank attacks on many critical points such as military headquarters, facilities, and material depots, dealt one blow after another to Russia. According to breaking news, Ukraine continues to attack Russia's critical targets. Ukrainian drones attacked an aircraft factory on the Belarusian-Russian border the previous night. In the war where drones are at the forefront, Ukraine has collapsed the Russian air defense system. While Ukraine's constant attacks make Russia's repair efforts untenable, important defense efforts for Russia remain fruitless. Explosions occurred as a result of a drone attack on the aircraft factory in Smolensk, Russia. The factory produces parts for fighter jets and is one of the largest manufacturers in the aggressor country of the Russian Federation. According to details cited by Russian publications, around 8 a.m., the drone was suppressed by the forces of electronic warfare and fell on the territory of an aircraft factory. The governor of the Smolensk region, Vasily Anokhin, said in a statement that Ukraine had attacked the territory of Zadneprovsk and Smolensk region with aircraft-type drones. Without giving further details, he said that 3 drones were found. According to Russian media reports, the drone fell on the roof of the factory and exploded. A meter-long hole appeared in the roof of the building. At the same time, a large part of the factory became unusable, while employees were evacuated from the building. Special services were called to the scene. The governor claimed that the roof of the factory building caught fire as a result of the attack, but stated that there were no casualties. The plant was attacked by an unknown drone that crashed into the factory building. Russian media also reported another attack on the plant. An unexploded aircraft-type drone containing explosives was discovered in a workshop. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed that they had prevented an attempt by aircraft-type drones to hit objects on Russian territory. At the same time, local residents of Smolensk complained of violent explosions in the area of the aircraft factory where missiles are manufactured. Residents claim that the city was bombed. Russian propaganda telegram channels also published photos and videos from the scene. The footage shows that the explosion was very violent. A fire broke out and clouds of smoke formed. In total, there were 3 explosions so powerful that some Russians felt their homes shaking. A bright flash was then seen over the aircraft factory, and firefighters rushed to the scene. Nearby residents also noticed that fire brigades were heading to the area. Smolensk residents panicked, suggesting that they would be forced to evacuate the city if the bombing continued. The Russian Federation, on the other hand, is trying to cover up the successive attacks and prevent the public from panicking, while at the same time claiming to have prevented them. Ukraine's drone strikes continue to cause major problems for the Russian military. While Ukrainian troops are gaining strategic successes in the war of attrition, the intensity of the Russian army's attacks is noticeably decreasing. On the other hand, a fire broke out in the military hospital of Putin's army in Valuiki, Belgorod Oblast. Russia started last night with unrest again. This time explosions were heard in the Belgorod region. The regional authorities reported drones allegedly shot down by Russian air defenses. This was reported by social networks and Z fighters, while local residents also posted videos of the fire. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation reported the alleged destruction of 18 drones, but Russian propagandists said that the drones were probably heading towards the local military hospital and airport. There has been no official statement from the Russian Federation on the attack. It is safe to say that Ukraine's aim with these strikes is not to cause widespread destruction or loss of life, but to create fear in Moscow. To this end, Kiev plans to increase its drone success. We can say that these developments, which are worrying for Russian defense, have brought to mind the questions of whether they are rehearsals for bigger attacks. While some Russian commentators see the drone strikes as an attempt to demonstrate Ukraine's ability to launch attacks on border regions, fuel tensions in Russia and rally support among the Ukrainian public, some Russian bloggers see these attacks as a possible rehearsal for larger and more comprehensive attacks. In the aftermath of the attacks, Moscow has begun to implement a protection plan. As you may recall, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered to tighten control on the Ukrainian border after a series of drone strikes that Russian officials blamed on Kiev. However, this was not enough to stop Ukrainian drones. Russia has reported several drone strikes in recent months, accusing Ukraine of being behind them. As of September 2023, Russia reported more than 190 suspected drone strikes on its territory. Military infrastructure and related areas are often the target of such alleged attacks. While Russia is trying to counter Ukrainian attacks, it is simultaneously trying to deal with Ukrainian partisans' actions against military points. Reports of sabotage activities by Ukrainian partisans in the region are becoming more and more frequent. Most of them are successful operations focused on disrupting the concentration of Russian troops and equipment.